But isn't it annoying when they do the last song in the films, though?
Why?
Because you just know when it goes really big and the camera goes, like, out of the roof and you just know it's going to end. I hate that. I really hate that. I used to cheat on that when I was a little girl back in Czechoslovakia. I would leave the cinema just after the next to last song, and the film would just go on forever.
Og Selma laver jo også en film, en små fantasistykker, eller hvad du vil, er jo hendes lille eget kunstværk. Hun er i stand til at se livet igennem et musical-filter, som hun selv lægger ned over, men hvor denne musical normalt ville, hvad skal man sige, prise de store, perfekte ting, så er det ligesom de små, menneskelige fejltagelser, der bliver. Jeg må sige, at når jeg selv står med kameraet, så er jeg en medspiller, fordi så bliver jeg betragteren, og så kan jeg så jo også sige ting til skuespillerne undervejs, hvilket er. Når jeg står med et kamera mellem de der skuespillere, så bliver jeg ligeværdig på en eller anden måde. Når jeg bagefter møder dem som person, så bliver man jo jordet, men når man går rundt der med kameraet, så er man ligesom noget. Og de er jo også lidt bange for det. Man kan jo altid være ondskabsfuld med et kamera. Det skal man jo være lidt ondskabsfuld, ellers så får man ikke noget ud af det. Lidt ondskabsfuld, synes jeg.
Or early on in my career, if I'd made a musical, I would have made it a very traditional way with a lot of tracking shots and crane shots. It's logical. That's how you do it. That's what makes, image and music work together. It's a pleasure. But now, I have a tendency to put down rules for myself. So I thought, no, let's go in the opposite direction. The intention with 100 cameras was to do the same thing as we did with a handheld camera in the dramatic sequences. And that was to give a lot of freedom to, the people in front of the camera. And to do something that was not too controlled. And instead of using a handheld camera, then we would actually put up a lot of cameras, so you just covered everything in the space where you, and then people would be in the images by chance, and this was the way you could cover it, right? You would get some kind of a random effect of where this was not exactly how it turned out, but the idea was to make a transmission of a live event. That was the idea, which I still think is a good idea, but we couldn't, at a certain point we tried, but we didn't have the means to do it. But we wanted Björk to sing live, and we wanted to film every dance only once.
Lars and Vivica Winderlof, our producer, decided that I should basically man the 100 camera team. I knew the work better than anyone. I had created the pieces. So the process was that the art department would give us the floor plan of the environments in which we worked. And then Lars came up with the concept of the way we would use the 100 cameras. Then he and I would walk the set after I walked through the movement with him, and we would take turns kind of playing with where we felt these cameras should go. Edward Friis-Mueller would walk behind us for the most part and make little notations along with Linda, our script supervisor. So then they would hand us back the blueprint, and we would see where our cameras were located and check it out to be sure that this is what we had thought we had planned. Pass that over to the 100 camera crew so they could mount the cameras.
Every scene Lars did a very defined technical concept. Like for this scene, we only use high-angle shots for this type of storytelling or whatever. He would do a very precise sort of definition of how to solve the scene.
We used the small Sony handheld DV cameras. They were stationary, and we decided that what they would do would be able to create a very omniscient perspective of Selma's mind, and to give us the opportunity to see the dances from all kinds of bizarre and strange angles.
Main film is shot with a bigger camera, more sort of professional type camera, and it was transferred to film with a laser technique, where you actually shoot the picture onto the negative with a laser beam. And the 100 cameras was transferred to film with a cathode ray tube, like a big television that you shoot off frame by frame. We used some of the bigger cameras for the dance scenes, for close-ups and stuff, and actually had camera operators move fixed shots around. But then to match the big cameras with the small cameras, we had to put them through an electronic filter that would destroy the image a little bit. And then it would intercut nicely with the footage from the smaller cameras. On the first day of shooting with 100 cameras, we did 68 hours of material, which is a lot. And we ended up having something like 3,000 tapes from the shoot. And it took quite a few people for around 6 months to get all the material transferred into the editing computers and do the actual editing.
The main rule we had in the editing was we should cut emotionally. That we shouldn't respect the transportation or the formality or the establishing of the situation. We should go late into the situation, as late as we dared, and leave it as soon as the emotion had peaked.
De historier, som kun er klichéfyldte, bliver der lavet masser af, ikke? Mit mål har så været at lave nogen, som man kunne acceptere, ikke? Altså, hvor man ikke står af.